Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be doing a swatch and review of the brand Static Nails. I have so many different polishes to swatch for you guys today. Oh my gosh, sorry, that's going to be loud. I couldn't even fit them all in the thumbnail. Like, there's more behind that first row. That's how many we have to swatch. I am so excited about that. I can't even contain my excitement. I love nail polish so much, and I absolutely love watching swatch videos. I just find it so relaxing and aesthetically pleasing. And who doesn't love picking out a cute new nail polish, you know? We still want pretty nails even in quarantine. And the reason I was really drawn to this brand at first, aside from the beautiful selection of colors, is that they claim to last 10 days on your nails and also claim to fully dry in 10 to 15 minutes. So I was like, you're telling me you have the best assortment of nude and pink nail polishes that I've ever seen, plus you're gonna last 10 full days without chipping and dry in 10 to 15 minutes? That I want to put to the test. So that's what I've done. I have been wearing these nail polishes for the past couple months at this point, and I am here to let you guys know my thoughts and then of course show you swatches of every single shade. So if you want to hear my thoughts on Static Nails and if it's worth the purchase, you're in the right spot. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's just start off with a really quick overview and review of these nail polishes. We'll save the best for last, do the swatches at the end, but I'm sure most of you guys are just here for the swatches, so I'll try to breeze through this review as quickly as possible so we can get to the good stuff. So for reference, each nail polish from Static Nails has 0.41 fluid ounces of product in it and retails for $16. So pretty steep price point. And just for point of comparison, OPI Infinite Shine nail polishes have 0.5 fluid ounces of product in them and retail for $13. I've always just kind of considered OPI to be one of the more expensive nail polish brands, but I don't feel that the Infinite Shine polishes are comparable in terms of ingredients and wear on the nails to Static Nails. So while I think that this price point is steep, it kind of makes sense for what you get. We'll talk about it. So on Static Nails website, they claim that their polishes are made in the USA, they're non-toxic, ate-free, vegan, cruelty-free, and they have a patented formulation. And that made it tricky for me to dig into the ingredients because they actually don't have extensive ingredient lists on their site for these products. They have key ingredients called out for each nail polish, and they just call out 3 key ingredients, but they don't have a full list, which I really wanted to do a comparison and see, you know, what's not in this that you would find in other popular brands like OPI. I was super curious, but unfortunately I was not able to do a direct comparison in that way. Static Nails says that this is a breakthrough formula loaded with rich pigments and natural antioxidants for a healthy manicure that actually lasts up to 10 days without chipping when you pair it with their primer and top coat. They say that in a comprehensive study, 100% of participants saw 3 times longer wear compared to other leading brands. They don't say what those brands are or how that study was done at all, so who knows how valid that was, but it's supposed to be longer wear. And each of the polishes, like I said, has 3 key ingredients called out, and the key ingredients that are called out for each shade are actually different, which I found interesting. So I'm not really sure what makes them select certain ingredients over others, depending on the shade, but it looks like maybe they have 5 to 10 max key ingredients that are kind of swapped out and called out for each shade. And a lot of those ingredients are things that are really nice and going to help to replenish and nourish the nails so that they're able to grow longer and stronger. So some of those ingredients include rosehip oil, coconut oil, green tea, primrose, marula oil, peppermint, balm mint. If that just triggered you and you were thinking essential oils, I personally have no issues with essential oils in nail care. I use fragrance in body care as well. It's not something I have an issue with. I choose to not use it on my face because I have sensitive skin. I have no problem with that being added to the polish, but it's not like these polishes smell like mint at all. So if you just don't really like that scent, it just smells like any other regular nail polish. And they actually have different coverage options for some of their shades, which I thought was really cool and something that was unique to this brand. So they will have some shades in a full coverage version and a sheer to semi-sheer version. So it just gives you a little bit more flexibility. If you want something that's super easy to throw on the nails and just go out the door, that is a great option to have something that's sheer, especially in lighter colors like this. So I do have a couple here that are sheer, semi-sheer, I believe. I don't know how many, but in general, I prefer full coverage. Sometimes though, it's kind of nice. And they say that the dry time is about 10 to 15 minutes. They do say that if you let your nails dry longer, they will last longer, which makes sense, but 10 to 15 minutes was a very enticing claim to me. I don't know any nail polish that dries that quickly that I've tried before. There's actually one other brand that I've recently tried that's kind of similar to this, but aside from that, just your classic brands that we've used for years and years, like OPI, that have been around forever. I feel like 2 coats of OPI or comparable brands take me a full 3 hours to dry, so that I don't feel like I'm gonna ding my nails. You know, like they might be pretty much dry, but you can smudge them still. And that just drives me insane. Why am I gonna sit and spend all this time painting my nails to then not be able to do anything for the next few hours and still end up messing them up? Like I still would always mess up my nails. So those are pretty much the major claims here. They kind of have a little explanation of how you can apply the polish for maximum wear, but I would say there's nothing really revolutionary about that application process. They do just recommend cleansing your hand before and making sure that you're smoothing off your nail surface before so that the color can actually adhere to the nail. So again, it's nothing that we haven't heard before, so really the standout here is the actual polish itself. So I've been testing out these polishes for quite a while behind the scenes, and I do agree with the fact that they fully dry in 10 to 15 minutes and they last around 10 days. I've been super impressed by the performance of this brand. No joke, you guys know that I wouldn't lie about that. It's been pretty amazing. I have been using it with their primer and top coat. Just after reading their site, it seems like you kind of have to, you know? I feel like it's the system together that kind of works like a little magnet, and you're not gonna get the same effect, same long lasting effect without the primer and top coat. So for me, if you guys have watched my nail care videos before, then you know that I have been trying to grow out my nails for a long time. I pick at my nails constantly. It's the worst habit ever. I used to bite my nails 24/7, which I have gotten rid of that habit for the most part. And then I started to wear acrylics and gels and dip powder on my nail to try to prevent myself from picking at them, but that destroyed my nails. So I just have never had long, healthy nails, and I have really been trying to just make them healthier so that they can grow long and strong, because all I want is really pretty long nails with nail polish on them, because I love nail polish so much and I love to switch out my colors. So that's what I've been trying to do, and I have to say I have absolutely seen an improvement in the strength of my nails since I started using these nail polishes and switching from other brands. And I think one of the biggest reasons for that for me is just because, number one, since they don't chip as quickly, I'm not picking at them like I used to. That was one of my biggest issues with other nail polishes, is once they would start to chip, I would just pick at all of my nails, and that is obviously not good for your nails. So since they're not chipping, I'm just kind of letting my nails breathe and be, and I'm not picking at them. And also because they last longer, I don't have to use nail polish remover and then repaint my nails as often, which I think was just another big issue. So my nails would chip, I would peel them off, I would have to use nail polish remover to get anything remaining off, and then repaint. And that process repeatedly, of course, is not great for your nails, especially when those polishes don't have amazing ingredients in them. So those things, plus probably some of these ingredients that were added to the polishes, which seem nice, but I can't fully speak to because I haven't seen the full ingredient list. I think all of those things combined have made for a really happy scenario for my nails, and they definitely are growing longer. I still am getting like little tears and rips in my nails as they start to get longer, but I'm seeing a huge improvement. They're so much better. So I think where you can run into a little bit of an issue with chipping is if you have peeling nails. That makes it tricky for any polish to stay on, even if it's in a formulation like this that is going to be longer wear, because if your nail is peeling off, the polish is going to go with it. So that's kind of what I actually had on this. You probably can't even see it. This nail right here, but the rest of my nails, which are not peeling at the moment, are still fully intact. There's literally not a single chip. So that's one thing that you kind of have to work through if you're trying to strengthen your nails and grow them out. It's not gonna last the full 10 days without chipping if your nails are chipping in it of themselves, you know? But as you continue to wear it and just be patient, it does get better, and then the longer it lasts. So when did I paint these? Like 5 days ago at this point? No chips. So I would say I probably start to get a little bit of chipping around day 6 or 7, but they really do last a full 10 days on me, which is amazing. And I feel like they're gonna last longer once my nails are even healthier. So those are my final thoughts. Do I think it's worth $16? When I take everything into consideration that I just said, the dry time, the lasting power, and just its ability to make my nails healthier, I personally think that that is worth $16. I know it's not super affordable, and I'm not trying to make you think that it's worth $16, just letting you know my personal thoughts. When I have something like this for $13 that takes 3+ hours to dry, chips in a couple days, and isn't doing anything really to make my nails healthier and stronger, I would so much rather spend $3 extra for static nails to get that performance. But that's just my opinion, like I said. So, you know, if you don't agree, totally fine. So that is my review. Let's jump into the swatches. I will show you guys swatches of every single shade, and we do have a lot of shades that are really similar. I was actually kind of surprised when I got my package. Like, some of these pinks and nudes look identical in the bottle, so hopefully this helps you guys to really see the true color and kind of the nuances and undertone. For the swatches, I will be using, oh, what is this called again? I just blanked. I'm pretty sure it's called a nail display card. Hopefully that's okay with you guys. I just feel like it's a lot easier to see the true color when it's a longer nail and not my own nails, which are shorter. I don't know. I just feel like that's easier, and then we can see everything side by side. If you guys are interested in these nail display cards, I will link them in my description box. I got them off of Amazon for a very affordable price. I don't remember how much, but I love having those because then when I'm trying to pick out the nail color that I want to wear, I can kind of do, it's like a little bit of window shopping, you know, a try on. I can line it up on my hand, see what I want, see what my mood is. I just love that. It's like shopping in your own collection. So I will have that nail display card linked below, but without further ado, let's jump into the swatches.
This first shade is a full coverage cream shade called Coco, and it looks white in the bottle, but once it's swatched out, you can see that it's not white, it's actually more of a beige cream. So this is perfect for those of you that like a really light nail, but don't want something that's completely stark white. I absolutely love shades like this in warmer weather months, or for those of you that have medium to deep skin tones, I think it looks stunning. Next is another full coverage shade called Birthday Cake, and this one looks really similar to Coco in the bottle, but swatched out, it's pretty different. It still has that creamy, light milkiness to it, but it's much more of a light pink than a beige, and I love this one as well. It's exactly what I would think of when I think of birthday cake and frosting. So cute. Next, we have a sheer shade called Coconut. The next few shades are actually sheer, and they're really hard to distinguish between when they're swatched out on these nail display cards. So I actually did take off my nail polish so I could quickly put them on my nails and show you guys what these look like on my nails. They show up a lot better there. So this is a very sheer, clearly shade, and this one has more of a beigey undertone to it. So for those of you that want something sheer that is more beige than pink, then Coconut is going to be the shade for you. Next is another sheer called Milky Pink. This one is very similar to the previous shade, but has a pink undertone as well, and this one is just really pretty and feminine. I also really like to wear sheer shades like this on top of one coat of a full coverage shade, just for something a little bit different. Next is another sheer pink called Mademoiselle, so fancy, and this one is very similar to Milky Pink but is less of a baby pink. So if you want a sheer pink that is a little bit more neutral and everyday, this is definitely going to be the one for you. Next is our second to last sheer shade called Soft Glow, yet another sheer pink, and this one I would say is essentially identical to Mademoiselle. Unfortunately, I wish I knew that before I got them, but you definitely don't need both of them. I don't think you need multiple of any of these sheer shades because of how similar they look, but you'll be able to see here that next to Mademoiselle, it's pretty much impossible to tell a difference. Next is a full coverage pink called Baby Doll, and this one is so cute, you guys. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I find that really light pinks are either too white leaning or just don't have the right undertone that I'm looking for and look a little bit harsh on the nail, but I feel like this is a perfect wearable baby doll pink. I absolutely love it. And our last fully sheer shade is Pillow Talk. I love the name of this. So this one is the most tan/beige out of all of them. It's the most similar to Coconut, but still is a little bit darker. I don't think you need both. They're so similar when they're swatched out. Same goes for all of these shades, honestly. I wanted to show you guys what they looked like side by side on my nails, so hopefully you can kind of pick up on some of the subtle differences between them. But honestly, I would say just go for one sheer. It's nice to have in your collection, but I was a little bit bummed that there wasn't a bigger difference between all of these. Next is a full coverage shade called Fetish, and I was having a really hard time thinking of how to describe this. It kind of is like a beige, light gray, light tan, so I want to land on grayish. That feels the safest to me. And Static Nails actually does not have descriptions for any of their colors, so I am totally winging each of these, but I really like this shade as well. I think it's super pretty for most months, honestly, and just a really nice wearable shade. If you're somebody that can't wear bright, colorful colors at work, I think this one is perfect. Next, we have a full coverage shade called Skinny Dip, and this one is similar to Fetish, but I would say is a little bit more tan and a little bit lighter. I don't personally love shades like this on my skin tone. I just feel like it's not the most complimentary unless I'm a little bit more tan and have some color. I think something like this is gorgeous on deep skin tones. It's just a light, creamy, milky beige. Gorgeous. Next is a sheer to full coverage shade called Creme Brulee, and I think this one is my favorite so far out of all of them. It's so pretty. This is just my perfect kind of neutral, everyday, wearable beige that pulls a little bit warm. You'll see when it's swatched out, it just has a little bit more warmth to it. I would say it's just a good, pretty tan. This shade is sheer to semi-sheer, and it's called You Make Me Blush. I personally feel like this is a little bit more semi-sheer to full coverage because with two coats, I think it looks pretty much the same as all of the other shades that are full coverage. And if Creme Brulee is my favorite wearable tan beige, then this I think is my favorite wearable pink. It's so beautiful because it has such a nice kind of purpley mauve undertone to it without being too cool. It's just gorgeous. Oh my gosh, like a dusty rose. Obsessed. Next is a full coverage shade called Parisian Pink. I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly, and knowing me, I am probably not. In the bottle, this one looks almost identical to You Make Me Blush, but swatched out, it's a little bit more warm toned, has a little bit more of a brown base to it. A little bit. So similar. I definitely don't think you need both, but nonetheless, very pretty. Next is a full coverage shade called Dough that I would also consider to be a grayish, but just a deeper version. This one is so beautiful. This is such a staple in a nail polish collection if you ask me, because I feel like you can wear it year round and it will fit any season. Love. Next, we have a semi-sheer to full coverage shade called Irene that I am in love with. Oh my goodness. This is easily one of my top 5 favorites. It's so pretty. It kind of looks like You Make Me Blush, but is definitely more mauve and cooler in undertone than that shade, and it's beautiful. It's the perfect mix between a pink and a purple and a little bit of gray. Oh my gosh, love. Next, we have a full coverage shade called Hampton Social, and this one looks white, but it's actually gray. It's a very, very light, bright, milky gray with a little hint of a blue undertone to it. Oh my goodness. And I absolutely love this. I think it's totally unique, and you can see when it's swatched out, it kind of looks like it's white, but then when you get up close, you realize, no, it's not. It's actually gray. And I love that. Next is another full coverage light bright gray that looks very, very similar to Hampton Social called Earl Gray. This one I think I like a little bit more because it's just even more unique. It has a little bit more of a blue undertone, and it just has that twinge of blue on the nail without being a blue nail polish. I think this one is so cool. You can see very similar again to Hampton Social, but there is a little bit of a difference in undertone, so definitely don't need both. Next, we have another full coverage gray, but this one is definitely deeper, and it's called Mood. This I would consider to be just a perfect gray. Sometimes grays pull a little bit too green or yellow in undertone, and I just don't love that. This is a nice neutral gray. I feel like it's just perfectly in between, which is what neutral is. Love it. Next, we have a sheer to semi-sheer shade called Ever So Mod, and this one is just the sheer sister to Mood. So if you are interested in a sheer gray, this is going to be the one for you. I actually did not previously own a sheer gray, and I think it's really cool and again, unique to my collection. And I like that this one has a little bit more color to it than some of those first few sheers that we swatched out. Next is a full coverage shade called Bohemian Blue, and I have never seen nail polish quite like this. At least I did not previously own one, and I think this is just such a fun shade. It's kind of the opposite of Earl Gray, where that was a gray with a blue undertone. This is a blue with a gray undertone, and of course is much deeper than that one. I think this is really cool, such a pretty fall winter color. Next is a full coverage shade called I'll Do It Tomorrow, and this is a very deep navy that I was hoping would swatch out to look pretty much black, and it does. I was actually looking for a black on their site and they were out of stock. This was the closest thing, but I would still consider this to be a black when it swatched out, at least on my nails. It does have a slightly blue undertone to it, but I don't think it looks navy on me. Next is a full coverage pink called Martini Addiction, and this is just a bright, hot, fuchsia-like pink. I think this is just such a good staple hot pink to have in your collection. I feel like that's one of those colors that everybody could use year-round. Definitely something I gravitate towards more in the summer, but still is really fun and actually what I had on my nails when I was doing these swatches. Then we have a full coverage shade called When in Madrid, and this is such a beautiful bright red that has an orange undertone. So it's definitely a warm toned red and something that I think is so spicy and juicy and yummy. I love this. Next is another full coverage bright red called Triple Cherry, but this one is definitely much more cool or blue in undertone than When in Madrid. So you'll be able to see swatched out next to each other that they definitely have a different undertone. This one I would consider to be more of a holiday red, just a true beautiful classic red. The last shade we have is my letdown shade. It's a full coverage shade called Sweater Weather, and I absolutely love it in the bottle. I think it's super pretty, kind of a brownish plum color that's not too deep, but when it's swatched out, it just gets quite a bit deeper than it looks in the bottle, in my opinion. Especially with two coats, I just don't personally love the way that that looks on my nails because I feel like it ends up just looking kind of brown. But if you are on the lookout for a vampy plum, then this is the one for you.
All right, you guys, that is it for this swatch and review. I hope that you guys enjoyed this and found it helpful. I am very curious to hear your thoughts on this brand in the comments below. So you definitely will have to let me know. Have you tried this? Are you interested in trying it after watching this video? What shades were your favorite shades? Please let me know so we can compare favorites. And if there's anything else that you guys would like to see from me next, you know the drill. Leave that request in the comments as well. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click on that notification bell. And it would also mean so much to me if you sent my channel to a friend. I would love to have them here. All right, you guys, that is everything. My next video will be up in a few days. So until then, I hope you have a great few days.